Hi folks, I wanted to talk to you today about imposter syndrome, really because it's something that comes up so frequently in coaching type conversations. So first of all, what is imposter syndrome? Well, it can be defined as that kind of feeling that you might have when you've just changed job or you've got a promotion, you're in a new role, a bit of doubts creeping in and you think maybe you're a bit of a fraud, that you're not skilled enough, you're not good enough to be there, and that maybe you've got that job by accident or by mistake perhaps, and that at anytime soon there's going to be a tap on the shoulder and somebody's going to say to you, what are you doing here? Well, having looked into imposter syndrome a bit and researched it, what I've discovered or what I've realised is that it's not a syndrome at all. It's not a disease, it's not a pathology, it's not something that's wrong with you. It's a perfectly natural bit of self-reflection, self-appraisal if you like. It's healthy. And then really most people would have imposter syndrome at some point. And I guess the other thing is, it doesn't go away the higher you climb up any kind of hierarchy or management ladder. People in very senior positions, people who you might think have achieved everything, still might suffer or have a degree of imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. I guess the other thing to point out would be that if you didn't have some degree of self-reflection, self-doubt, that perhaps your skills of self-reflection aren't up to much, you're maybe even a bit of a narcissist. I think it's probably important too to point out that this voice of self-doubt should be your own voice coming into your mind. It certainly shouldn't be somebody else telling you that you're not good enough or that you're not valued or that you're a fraud in some way, because that's not imposter syndrome, that's gaslighting. And whoever would be doing that to you really shouldn't have any influence on your thinking. Anyway, so what can we do about imposter syndrome if we're going to call it that? Well, I guess I think the first thing to say is that yes, this is a normal, healthy feeling that so many people will experience, and that's something that doesn't go away over time, and that maybe you could see it as something that's positive. Maybe it's signposting you in some way. Perhaps there is a particular part of your job that you could do better, maybe a skill that you could enhance, or maybe a course you could go on, or maybe get some mentorship in a particular area to make you move towards your potential in that role. I guess the second thing would be perhaps getting some feedback, and that would be best from the person who maybe interviewed you for the job that you're in, because they certainly know that you're good enough. They've given you the role, they know that you've got the qualifications, that you've done the work to get there, and that you are of course good enough to be in that role. I guess the next thing then we'd talk about something that's sometimes described as fake it till you make it, where you kind of act that role that you want to be, that you have that mask on if you like, that you're acting to be that person that you know that you can be, that you want to be. I don't really like that term because you're not faking, you're actually being genuine, you're being authentic, but you are perhaps over time with that approach where you're acting that role, eventually you will become that person that you really are already. And whenever you look back on this experience, you might think to yourself, well, I was that person all along, and the only thing holding me back was me. Anyway, that's all from me for now, but if you want to hear any more about my coaching work, please go to cjlightbodycoaching.com. And in the meantime, as always, thanks for listening and take care.